My name is Brandon Waits. I'm the founder of HorrOrigins Film Festival. I started this back in 2019. Currently run it with my kids. We have judges from all over the world that are in the film industry. We initially started off in Atlanta, and then the second year was COVID, and then the third year, fourth year, and fifth year are all here in Tucson, Arizona. Our whole focus is to get inside the minds of the filmmakers and the writers, and that is why our tagline is "Where Horror is Born," because we like to get into the mind. This year we currently have filmmakers from 30 countries, and we're showing over 100 films. We also have filmmakers like producer and writer Jed Shepard, who did host in Dashcam, and we have Micah Haley in attendance. Mike is known for the company, Director of Development of Intercut Capital, which funds movies such as Jay and Silent Bob reboot, The Old Way with Nicolas Cage. They also funded movies like The Butler. So they're very experienced in sharing their knowledge in film finance with filmmakers. We're also known for our trophy, which is called an Oscar, and it's a mummy in the shape of an Oscar.
So Brandon, tell me a little bit about what got you into film horror. When did it happen? When did the bug bite you, and how's it grown over the years?
My kids range from the age of 2 and 19, and I have 6 of them, 3 boys, 3 girls. And I've kind of done the same thing that was done to me. I grew up watching horror from a young age. The ones that really stuck out to me when I was young was Pet Sematary, the original. Let's see, Chucky, the first Chucky, second Chucky, really good. Halloween is probably my favorite slasher, Michael Myers. I think he's the best. Nobody compares, not even Freddy or Jason. The Exorcist with Linda Blair. So I'd have to go The Exorcist, Halloween, Chucky, and Pet Sematary.
Good choices.
Thank you.
All good choices. So hey, how about this year? Has anything caught your fancy in the last year or two where you're like, wow, this is impressive?
I would say maybe in the last 10 years, give or take, that number. Some of my favorite films are Midsummer by Ari Aster, St. Maud, which was directed by Rose Glass. She's a London filmmaker. I think she's very talented, and I think it's an underrated film. The unfortunate thing with that was, I believe it was released around the time of COVID, so it didn't get the theatrical response that it deserved. But it's a very good film. Also, one of my favorites is Robert Eggers, who did The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman, and between him, Ari Aster, those are probably my favorite directors at this time.
All right, and so you've been doing this for 5 years. Tell me a little bit about how you got your festival going and where it's at now.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the first year we had to do it in Atlanta. Being a smaller fest, you have to really try to find a partnership with a theater that's willing to take you in, because a lot of these theaters may overcharge. So what ended up happening was our first year we went into Atlanta, and it was a good year. Second year was COVID. And then since we live in Tucson, what ended up happening was my kids go to school right down the road. I remembered there was a new theater here, so I came over and I talked to Karen and Josh, the managers here at Galaxy Theater, and they were willing to partner with me. There's Karen right there. But so year 3, Galaxy Theaters took us in, and we were able to stay here in Tucson to get independent film shown here in Tucson.
In the last 5 years, since you've been doing the festival, since you've got it going, where do you see the trends in horror and the horror film industry going?
I think due to the successes of Ari Aster and Robert Eggers with the slow burn horror, there is more favor with writers and filmmakers to do that type of horror, psychological thrillers. projects like that. So I would say, a very popular trend, and I'm a fan of it, is the slow burn horror, psychological thrillers that really are, I don't know how to say it, but like real horror, like real life horror. You think about Hereditary, where the sister's head gets knocked off by a pole, like that could really happen. So I think diving deeper into real emotions and fears of people is something that's really trending.
Cool. And so in the last year or so, what has caught your attention the most? If there was one film, it doesn't even have to be horror. What's the film you've watched the most in the last year?
Ooh, I watched a lot of movies. So my family, my wife and kids, we do on Saturdays, we do a family movie night. So one of the things I like to do is not just horror, but all genres. We do a family movie night, we'll buy dinner, and we'll watch a movie that, had an impact on my childhood. So it could be something like Forrest Gump, or The Patriot, Shawshank Redemption, Pet Sematary, Halloween, and just kind of grow the knowledge of what I consider classics to my kids, share it. And that's something I really cherish. So I guess I really, I can't think of anything from the past year, but...
that leads me to an interesting question.
Yeah.
Did your dad or mom ever share a movie with you that made an impression on you?
That'd probably be horror-wise, Pet Sematary and The Exorcist, because the scene on Pet Sematary where the guy I haven't watched it in a while, so I can't really recall. I think it was the accident, right? It was a car accident, and the guy's head is just gushed, well, he's dead. And I remember being a kid and just kind of terrified by that. And then The Exorcist with the levitation, the projectile vomiting. That was another one, and I'm really glad that I was exposed to those at a young age. I know not everybody wants to show their kids that type of graphic horror movies, but storytelling. And I'm a filmmaker. I like to tell stories, so I'm teaching my kids the same thing.
So let me ask you this. If there was 2 or 3 people that you've connected with in the last 5 years doing this, and 2 or 3 moments that kind of signify what this all means to you, what would those be?
Okay.
And who would those be?
Well, I think first is the how do I say it? The time that I get with my kids, because they do participate in this as well. They help run the festival. That is something that I cherish. Then one of the things we like to do is, connect filmmakers that are trying to break out with established filmmakers. So I really enjoy connecting people to people that they may look up to. A moment, we've had filmmakers who have, and I'm not saying due to our fest, because there are so many film festivals out there that share the same or help contribute to the success of every filmmaker. These filmmakers go to a whole bunch of fests because they deserve it. But I enjoy being a part of that success exposure for the filmmakers. One that comes to mind is our very first year. There's a filmmaker who sent us a short called The Hide Behind, and he ended up winning. It was either Best Short Director or Best Short Film. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he just did a feature film for a studio last year, released around this time, called Smile, which did very well. His name's Parker Finn.
I think that was a $150 million movie or something like that. I may be wrong in that number, but it generated way more than was expected.
Yes, it did great. Parker is very talented. I think I just recently heard, earlier today, in fact, that Smile 2 is coming out. So
that's exciting to see young talent like that come through and blossom.
Yes. And we get so many talented filmmakers that come through like that just need the opportunity for exposure, and so building that relationship. We have repeat filmmakers that come in every year, and not only to support them, but for them to support us means the world. So I think, in the grand scheme of things, what means the most is the relationships that are built and how we can help each other, how we can collaborate with each other, help each other just be better as a festival, as people, as friends, as filmmakers.
Any last words or thoughts that you want to add?
Nothing I can think of. I appreciate you interviewing me.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. All right. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah. Appreciate you spending the time, and continued good luck and success with your festival for many years to come.
Thank you so much.
And please keep it in Tucson.
Yes, we're going to.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon.